Good evening. Tonight, a mystery almost solved. A Chicago woman tells us she has been looking for her son for about 3 decades.
Turns out he was in Mexico and just recently found right here in San Diego. NBC7's Candace Wynn spoke to both of them about this long journey that Candace is not over yet.
That's right. The mother says when her son was just a toddler, her husband at the time took him to Mexico and she hasn't seen her child since. We spoke to her son tonight, and he says less than 2 weeks ago, he tried crossing the border in search of opportunities and found he has a family. Now 37 years old, David Amaya is in Point Loma doing what he loves, drumming. But this time in a country he says he belongs.
He's emotional. He's very happy.
Having lived in Mexico most of his life, Amaya doesn't speak English. This is his birth certificate. It shows he was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1976. His mother, Kathy, who's in Wisconsin, told us her ex-husband took her son.
He came and got him and never brought him back. And then when I finally got in contact with him and found him, he told me he took him to Mexico.
Amaya says on October 30th, he was trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border when he was rounded up with a group of undocumented immigrants. He says at first Border Patrol agents didn't believe he was an American citizen, but later found he had been reported missing about 30 years ago. That was something he didn't know.
Because I don't know my mother. And now I find out that she's been looking for me for 30 years.
On Sunday, Amaya spoke to his mother on the phone through a translator. They don't speak the same language, but he says the emotion was clear.
Well, when they told me they have located her, I was so surprised and I was so emotional that I started crying.
It was actually amazing, yeah. It was. He even said, "Bye, Mom."
Amaya is being cared for by members of this church in Point Loma. Efforts are underway to get him to his mother. Now, we've reached out to Border Patrol to learn more about this case and are waiting to hear back. Amaya's mother tells me he has 4 siblings. She's excited for him to meet. Candace Wynn, NBC7.
In an NBC7 exclusive, we're hearing from the Border Patrol agent who helped David Amaya. He's a Chicago man abducted as a toddler and found just weeks ago here in San Diego. NBC7's Candace Wynn has been following the story and has more on David's journey home.
Agent Troy Matthews with Imperial Beach Border Patrol showed us Goat Canyon. This is where David Amaya was found with several undocumented immigrants. Border Patrol agents found David coming out of these tubes, but this is far from where David's journey began. They say he must have been traveling for days, several hundred miles from near Mexico City. Agent Matthews says at first David told them he was a Mexican citizen. Later, he changed his story, saying he was born in Chicago and his father took him to Mexico when he was a toddler. Although Agent Matthews had doubts, he says there was something about the case that compelled him to have the sector's intelligence unit look further.
And I get a phone call, "Hey, sir, you're not going to believe this. This guy's telling the truth. We contacted his mother. She's been looking for him for over 30 years.
Agent Matthews told David his mother wants to see him very much.
He kept looking around the room, like looking for somebody to make eye contact with and verify, or he was looking for the truth. And when he realized it, he kind of put his face in his hands, started crying.
Then the call the agents say they will never forget. With a translator, they got Kathy Amaya, David's mother, on the phone.
The most touching moment was when he said that he was told that he was abandoned. His father told him his entire life that his mother abandoned him and left him as a baby. And the mother started, "Please tell him that's not true. That's not true. I've been looking for him."
It's been about 2 weeks since that call. These agents had David stop by for another surprise.
And we just wanted to give you a little bit of money for your trip home.
Almost $200 collected from staff at the station. A small but meaningful donation.
I want to tell them that I'm very gracious and thank God and to all the people that have helped me and all the world.
Candace Wynn, NBC7.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Danya Backus.
And I'm Marty Ojeda. We begin tonight with a terrific story. A mother and son together again.
What name?
This took more than 30 years to happen. NBC7 was the first station to bring you the story of David Amaya.
He was abducted as a toddler and found in San Diego just a few weeks ago. He says he had no idea his mother was looking for him. NBC7's Candace Wynn was there for the emotional reunion. Candace.
Yeah, Artie, Danya, it was overwhelming. And to put David's journey into perspective, he traveled for weeks, several hundred miles from near Mexico City to be here. And tonight he's with family he recently learned he had.
En el nombre de Jesús te damos gracias. Amén y amén.
Breakfast and a prayer after a sleepless night.
I was waking up every time.
David Amaya is preparing to see his mother. To say this has been a long time coming is, to put it simply, David was born in Chicago. He says when he was a toddler, his father took him to Mexico. He was told his mother abandoned him. It wasn't until more than 3 decades later when he was caught crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, Border Patrol agents told David his mother has been looking for him this entire time.
He says a bunch of mixed feelings, and I don't really know what I'm going to say.
At Lindbergh Field, David waits anxiously. Then, through the swarm of news cameras, he sees her, and she sees him. Although they don't speak the same language, they share a few words.
Te quiero mami.
I love you, mommy.
I love you.
NBC7 spoke to David and his mother, Kathy, at the church where he's staying. Kathy says she's happy, but admits some of the emotions are bittersweet.
He's all grown up, and I've never seen his graduation, his first day of school.
But now they get to create new firsts.
The first thing that came to my thought is just to embrace her.
And when he heads back home with her,
I feel so much emotion that I'm going to see now my siblings.
first with more newfound family members.
He has a grandmother, he has an aunt and an uncle, lots and lots of cousins. I'm all happy, and I don't want to let him go.
What a great smile there. Well, David and his mother are excited to explore San Diego now. This is their first time here. On Tuesday, they'll fly to Wisconsin, where Kathy lives, and spend the holidays together. So finally, long time.
Terrific story.
Yeah.
And Candace, you have been covering this story from the start. You've talked with David a lot, and you were saying that there's been a noticeable change in his behavior.
Yeah, I just spoke to him, interviewed him just a couple days after he was found at the border, and every time then he was timid, he was scared, very easily shaken, and really every single time we've met him, he looks stronger, happier, more confident, healthier, and today he was finally able to tell us he feels at peace.
All right.
Nice.
Great ending. All right. Thanks, Candace.
Thanks.